It seems for many countries right now, the COVID-19 has seen its darkest days, with life as we know it returning to a relatively normal and restrictions slowly being released. The return to the gym can be a little daunting. Hell, it can be fucking scary. Your training may have dropped off, you've lost motivation, your confidence is at an all-time low, and you're unsure about what direction you should take. But let me grab your hand. Actually, give me your fucking hand. Cause me, Tyler, is gonna get you back to where you were. Hell, we're gonna make you better than you fucking were. Now, some of you are gonna be initially thinking, but Ty, I didn't have a gym like you. I wasn't able to train like you were, or I just found it super difficult to stay motivated at home. You're fucking spot on right there. You were set up for failure as soon as the gyms closed. The minute you left your CrossFit box, the minute you left your F45, your weightlifting gym, your conventional Globo gym, whatever you go to, you were set up for failure. Let's get you reassured of your goals. Let's get your aspirations back on point. Let's make 2020 your biggest fucking year yet. Let's start with goal setting. The coronavirus has undoubtedly exposed a weakness, a flaw, a missing piece to the puzzle for so many of us. The gym routine that we used to follow, the people we used to see, our coaches, our PTs that we were hugely reliant on, are now no longer in our lives. COVID-19 was a disease that was hugely unknown and had no known cure. Similar to how living at home was an unknown feeling for most of us. A huge factor that I personally identified early with many people that were going to my gym was, you go to the gym for an environment that will motivate you. Not because that you go for the motivation that the gym will provide. I was talking to Steve about his training habits over the last 8 weeks. He mentioned by not having the people he would normally interact with, the coaches and the facility as an escape from home and work life, he didn't have the same drive as he did when he was at the gym. Problem isn't that the gyms are closed or you don't have adequate equipment or guidance on exactly how to exercise. The problem was that Steve was reliant solely on the environment of the gym to provide him with the motivation he required to attack, to hit, to maintain his goals that he was aiming for. Without this outlet, it plummeted Steve into a depression of training and being demotivated and not being able to get himself moving. The point I'm trying to hammer home here is that most people are far too reliant on external sources of motivation to get them into the gym. We need to retrain our minds and how we think to be able to avoid a situation like this one from happening again. No, there probably will never be another global pandemic in our lifetimes like this one. But you could be traveling for work, overseas visiting a family, or just away from your normal routine. These are the same kind of situations as the C19 prevents us with, your lack of a why. You need a compelling why to convince yourself to go work out, even if you're feeling sluggish. Push yourself to choose the broccoli instead of another serving of fries. Motivate yourself to add another kilo to your bar to hit that PB you've been aiming for. Having a solid why gives you the fuel you need no matter the adversity to persist no matter what. My best mate, Evan Morris, is a professional CrossFit athlete. He also owns a gym. Throughout COVID-19, Evan took advantage of the circumstances to become a better athlete, improving his nutrition, increasing his quality of sleep, lowering his stress, increasing his testosterone, improving his quality of training. Now you might be sitting there fucking scratching your head like, but Ty, he has a gym. I don't. He also has no means to his method either. Evan's goal is to qualify for the CrossFit Games. With no sanctioned event or competition, it means his mean, no pun, of competition was invalid. This is a what's the point situation. But his method remained the same because his why was still CrossFit Games. He continued to push towards that goal as best as he could through the restrictions. His why was strong, it was foolproof, and it didn't have a way out. No loophole and no place of motivation. So what can you do to get a why as foolproof as Evan? Let's ask yourself a few questions. This is what I want you to do. What is your biggest goal when it comes to the gym? I want you to have a think about it for a moment. When you think about going to the gym, what is your why? Why do you go to the gym? Is it because you might look at losing a few pounds off your body? You're feeling like you want to get into the old bikini. You might have just had a child. You drop a little bit of weight. You could be someone who's always been skinny, picked on for being thin. You want to bulk up. You want to get huge. You want to show those haters exactly who is boss. Or maybe you just use it as an outlet of community social. You want to try and build more friendships, or you love competing. You want to become the next athlete, the powerlifter, CrossFitter, strongman, whatever. What is your why? Think of it right now. Have you thought about it? Cool. Tell me what your goal is. I want you to tell me into the video, what is your goal? Cool. Now, I'm not going to wait for the rest of them because obviously some of us will be saying it and you're like, he's already started to talk over me. But now you've mentioned your goal. Why? Why is that goal? What is the first thing that comes to your head when I say why? Say it straight away. Cool. And to what exactly you just said, why? I'm going to give you guys an example of how that situation would pan out. Let's say I am Deborah. I love using the name Deborah. I apologize to any Deborahs out there. I love you. I'm Deborah and I'm looking at losing 30 pounds. So Deborah, why do you want to lose 30 pounds? Well, Ty, I want to lose 30 pounds because I just don't feel confident in my body right now. Why? Why 30? Why not 60? Why not 90? Why? Because since having a child, I put on 30 pounds. I want to get back to where I was before having a kid. And currently I just don't feel up to scratch or at the point where I was with my health. It makes me feel self-conscious. I kind of feel like I don't want to go out anymore. And I'm just not as confident as I used to be. Why? Why aren't you as confident as I used to be? Because I used to be able to fit into a bikini, go to the beach, enjoy myself, be more open. But now I'm too self-conscious because I've just got a little bit of overhanging fat, a little bit of saggy skin. I'm not feeling as confident as I used to be when I used to be 30 pounds lighter. That's a pretty compelling why. Now, obviously it's a fake situation. However, someone might be able to relate to that. And if you are, awesome. That is a good why. Their why was because the confidence of wearing a bikini will also give me the confidence to have, ever since I gained that 30 pounds, I haven't been as confident as I used to be. So confidence is the driving factor of why. The goal is to lose 30 pounds. You're foolproof now. If I kept probing on you, you'd be like, I just want to have sex with the lights on, Tyler. Okay? Fuck off. Problem solved. Once you've gotten to that point where you can't answer anymore, that means you have a foolproof plan. If I keep asking why and you can't give me a direct answer, it means your reason is not good enough and you need to find a better one. You need to find a reason why you're doing something. It will make it easier to lose weight. It will make it easier to make that choice at the snack bar. It will make it easier to when your friends want to invite you out for drinks, and you're like, oh, I'll just have one or two. No, have some shots. And they'll be like, fuck off, Darren. I don't want shots. I'm trying to lose weight. Having a why makes you foolproof. It also keeps you motivated. That's the fuel I want you to keep pushing. Why? Because I want you to believe in exactly what you're doing. If there's even a shred of doubt when it comes to going through more walks instead of binging on Netflix, when it comes to eating a calorie deficit instead of ordering a pizza and Macca's night, if it comes to putting your health as a priority instead of your job, boyfriend, or kids, you won't hesitate to do the right thing. If you create your own method, you have your own means. This doesn't mean you don't require a gym. People want to be included. It's natural. It's a human instinct to be part of a community, a tribe. And when there's 5 people that surround you that also want the same goal, generally you're going to be more committed, accountable, and motivated to achieving those goals. Let's find out why. Let's get back into the gym and let's do this fucking shit properly. Strength. Most people's biggest fear during COVID-19 has been the loss of strength, muscle mass, and the gain of fat. But let's get the facts straight. As long as you haven't spent all of COVID-19 in a hospital bed, or you're in your actual bed, never getting up, never showering, then I've got some good news for you. You're probably going to keep your muscle gains, and they're not going to go anywhere. Your body is an adaptive machine, consistently fighting itself to adapt to the environment you're currently in. Physical activity such as resistance training promotes muscle protein synthesis, which in turn gives you gains. Whereas lying on the couch watching Netflix promotes muscle protein breakdown, which is where your gains are lost. The lower your activity levels are, the more your body is likely to adapt to your current lifestyle. I.e., you do nothing, you lose gains. Why, Tyler? Why does my body lose gains? Well, we are built for survival. Your body will get rid of anything it knows it doesn't need. If you're not moving, you don't need muscle. Your body's like, well, I might as well store more fat because I'm eating more and moving less. Calories in versus calories out. It's no smart science. Muscle is also more dense than fat, requiring more calories as fuel to be able to keep your body alive and moving. Your body identifies that it's a detriment to its health and it eats it away as energy because it knows that with muscle and no activity, it won't survive. Or at least it thinks it won't survive. Let's look at it another way. Imagine that you were a power saving option on your phone. You only ever press power saving when A, you're at 20% battery, or B, when you know that you're gonna go a long period of time without using a charger. Your body is the same. Think of muscle as the battery. Think of your body as a power saving mode. It doesn't need the muscle because it needs to survive. It gets rid of the muscle and puts itself on power saving mode until it can use it again. But I also want to ease your concerns about muscle loss. If you were to stop all physical activity for 2 weeks, you would see no significant muscle loss, as long as you're doing your normal day-to-day tasks. But let's say you have been maintaining a little training. Let's say you're doing at least maybe half of what the normal training that you usually do before COVID-19. You would maintain muscle mass for up to 32 weeks before seeing a decrease in performance and size. So what does this tell us? Well, initially it says as long as you haven't been doing sweet fuck all for the last 12 to 14 weeks, you would have maintained, if not stayed at the same muscle mass level that you had before you went into COVID-19. But Tyler, I put on weight during COVID-19, and you probably were going to anyway. Having more access or accessibility to something like a fridge or calories, it's just gonna make it easier for you to overconsume. You're probably bored eating most of the time, and you probably don't have a regular schedule. Your body doesn't need as many calories because in your normal day-to-day life, you're probably moving more, eating less, and stressing a little bit. Am I right? But as long as you have A, maintained training volume, B, been eating a relatively good amount of calories, and C, in those calories, there has been at least 2 grams per 1 kilo of body weight as protein, then you're gonna be pretty much set up for success when it comes to muscle. If you're doing all those factors, these things shouldn't be a worry. But you might be asking, what does all this have in common with strength? Well, I like to use the common phrase, mass moves mass. We all know muscle weighs more than fat. It's more dense, and having larger muscle mass means you can move more weight. Because the majority of your muscle mass has been maintained through light resistance training and maybe the odd use of a kettlebell or dumbbell, you would have maintained your strength levels. Let's give you guys some examples. So recently I had 2 members come into my home gym and do a session with me. A was Amanda. I got Amanda to do a 1RM snatch. Now, of course, this was in a safe environment. We also went through a very thorough warm-up and primer, which I'll discuss a little bit later on. And then we hit a 1RM snatch, or at least building up to a max snatch. Now, Amanda's personal best was 50 kilos. However, that is a lifetime PR that she hasn't hit in years. Before the gym closed, she told me that she got 42.5 kilos for a snatch. When she came and snatched with us, she got a 45 kilo snatch. That's amazing. That's over 90% of her 1RM, and her technique and form were still exactly where they were since she left. Building up that confidence around the barbell is key. My second example is Steve. Now, Steve's probably a little bit more relatable for you guys. Unlike Amanda, which Amanda stuck to training every single day with that kettlebell that she had, which was a 20 kilo kettlebell that she had with her, Steve only trained twice in the last 8 weeks. Steve has a very physical job. This makes sure that he doesn't lose as much strength gains as someone who doesn't, who has more of an office style job. He's constantly lifting and moving all day long. Steve came in and did an 85 kilo hang power clean, which is amazing considering that this kind of level of strength he almost had at the exact same time when he left the gym. What's my point about all this? As long as you haven't been doing completely nothing during COVID-19 and you've been maintaining some form of exercise or resistance training, your strength levels should be exactly where you left them. Make sure that before you attempt any lift when you do return to the gym, you go through a comprehensive warm-up and a primer for the movement. A primer should be some similar movements that get you warm or in the good positions, but your actual movement that you're going to do is going to mimic, implicate, whatever. The reason why you don't want to rush into doing, let's say, a 1RM deadlift is because 1, your confidence is going to be at an all-time low with the barbell. It's been months and months since you pick one up, and your form and technique probably won't be on point. And two, obviously the risk of injury is high, especially if you haven't done something like a max deadlift in a while. Your body won't be used to lifting heavy. So let's make sure we build up, we warm up, and we don't rush into these 1RMs. Your strength is going to be exactly where you left it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. 2 best things about getting to the gym. Let's get amongst it. Let's get after it. If you did, thumbs up. Share it with someone who may be struggling to get back into the gym. And if you guys have any questions, either leave in the comments or message me on Instagram. I'm always happy to answer your questions. Without further ado, hope you guys love the video. Subscribe and stay a beat.